Hey there, Magic players. Barry White here from MagicUntapped.com and Magic Untapped right here on YouTube. It's time for another pack cracking, and let's see. We have a whole bunch to choose from here. Let's grab one at random. We're going to go for a pack of Mystery Booster 2. Let's go ahead and get this open here. Now, Mystery Booster 2, this was obviously a sequel to the original Mystery Booster, which is basically a Chaos Draft in a booster pack. This came out a couple years ago. So let's go ahead and open this up. There's some fun things. Basically, everything's a reprint. They do have some kind of playtest cards. They're calling playtest cards. They're inspired by the cards they use to playtest when they're making new sets. But let's start off with an old frame card here. This is Angelic Favor. It's an instant for white and 3 from Nemesis. If you control planes, you may tap an untapped creature you control instead of paying for Angelic Favor's mana cost. You can play Angelic Favor only during combat. You put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying into play and then remove it at the end of the turn. So essentially this is a like a gotcha, hey, I have a defender sort of a card. The next thing, sticking with white, these should come in pairs. Seeing white here, this is a reprint from Magic 2012. This is Stonehorn Dignitary. Costs white and 3 for a creature Rhino Soldier. When Stonehorn Dignitary enters the battlefield, target opponent skips his or her next combat phase, and it is a 1/4. Again, kind of a gotcha card there. Next card here, moving to blue, going back to Nemesis with Submerge. Submerge costs blue and 4 for an instant. If an opponent controls a forest and you control an island, you may play Submerge without paying its mana cost. And then it lets you put target creature on top of its owner's library. Not really submerging it, more putting it at the surface, but we're just going to go with what the card says. Up next, another blue card here. Well, technically a blue land. This is Taria West. Pretty good card if you play Legacy. Taria West is a land from Future Sight. Comes into play tapped. You can tap to add 1 blue to your mana pool, but, and here's the important part, you can transmute it. And what that means is you can pay 2 blue and 1 to discard this card. Search your library for a card with converted mana cost 0 and reveal it. You put it into your hand, then shuffle your library, and you play this effect as a sorcery. Pretty key card in a handful of some pretty good Legacy decks, and there's also some commander combos and whatnot that go off of Taria West. Next card here, moving to black, we have an Audacious Thief. Audacious Thief costs black and 2. It's a creature human rogue from Magic 2020. Whenever Audacious Thief attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life, and it is a 2/2, so a little bit of an aggro card draw engine for you there, and 1 card for 1 life is a pretty good exchange rate if you ask me. Up next, our next black card is called Blood Curdle. Blood Curdle is an instant costing red and 3. This is from Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. Simply says, destroy target creature and put a menace counter on a creature you control. Ikoria, they came out with ability counters, so they're little markers you put on the card to show that card, that creature has that ability. In this case, it's menace. Very menacing way of, well, you know what I'm getting at. Next card, moving to red here, we have You Find Some Prisoners. And this is from the Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in Forgotten Realms set, costing red and 1 for an instant. You get to choose one. You can either break their chains, which means destroy a target artifact, or you can interrogate them, which lets you exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. You choose one of them. Until end of your next turn, you may play that card, and you may spend mana as though it were of any color to cast it. So, could be useful, especially in a multiplayer game, because that being pretty fun. Up next, sticking with red, we have a Shivan Raptor. Shivan Raptor. This comes from Urza's Saga. It's red and 2. Summon Lizard, or Creature Lizard, as they would say today. Has first strike and Echo. And Echo says, during your next upkeep, after this permanent comes under your control, pay its casting cost or sacrifice it. It is also unaffected by summoning sickness, what we call haste these days, and it's a 3/1. So it's a 3/1 for 3 with haste that you have to pay for again the following turn. Don't make cards like that anymore, probably for a good reason. Up next, moving to green, we have a Kappa Tech Wrecker. This is green and 1, and very apropos, it is a Ninja Turtle, or rather a Turtle Ninja. from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, has ninjutsu, green and 1, which ninjutsu means you can play it for that cost from your hand by returning an attacking creature, an unblocked attacking creature that is, that you're attacking with to your hand, and then you replace it with this. Also says Kappa Tech Wrecker enters the battlefield with a death touch counter on it. When Kappa Death Wrecker deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a death touch counter from it. When you do, exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls, and it is a 1/3. I will say I don't know outside the draft I've ever seen that actually played, but there you go. One of Magic's original Ninja Turtles. I don't think it's a teenage Ninja Turtle though, and doesn't say anything about being a mutant. But it is a Ninja Turtle, or rather a Turtle Ninja. Moving on, now we're sticking with red, or green rather. This is a pretty good enchantment. This is Primal Rage. This is one I run in a couple decks of mine. This is, as I said, an enchantment costing green and 1, and simply put, all your creatures gain trample. Could be quite a game changer card, especially if your opponents are not prepared to deal with trample, which a number of them are not. Up next, moving to artifacts. This is a Darksteel Ingot. Darksteel Ingot from Darksteel. It's artifact costing 3. It is indestructible, and simply put, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. At the time was considered a pretty good mana rock. I think probably still is a little bit because of the indestructibility. Up next, we're moving to gold cards, multicolor. This is a red-black card, Chainer Nightmare Adept from Modern Horizons 2. Chainer Nightmare Adept costs red, black, and 2 legendary creature human minion. You can discard a card to cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn, activate only once each turn. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn, and it is a 3/2. So you can cheat stuff in from the graveyard, give it haste, turn it sideways, and well, you know the rest. Next card here, we are going with a white border. Yes, right, this one had white border variants. This is a Goblin Guide, costing 1 red. It's a Goblin Scout with haste to 2/2. Says whenever Goblin Guide attacks, the defending player reveals the top card of their library. If it's a land, they put that into their hand. That's, yes, good for your opponent if it's a land, but it's a way to kind of balance this card being a 2/2 for 1. This was quite the legacy staple on burn decks, and you'll still see it from time to time today. Up next, we are going with a Future Sight frame. I don't know if you can see that very well. Variant of Tower of the Magistrate, which is a card from Mercadian Masks, going all the way back to the late 90s. Tower of the Magistrate, again, is a land, non-basic land that is. You can tap it for a colorless or pay 1 and tap it to give a target creature protection from artifacts until end of turn. And yes, that can be rather useful if you think about it. And finally, we have that playtest card that we're talking about. There we go, you can kind of see it there. This one is Rule with an even hand as opposed to an odd hand. It's a Conspiracy, which is a card type from, well, the set Conspiracy. You could start the game with this Conspiracy face up in the command zone. You cannot attack with an odd number of creatures. Whenever you attack, double target creature's power until end of turn. So there you go, that's a Conspiracy playtest card for you. Taking a look at value, Primal Rage is right around 4.5 with Tower of the Magistrate shortly behind it at about right around $3. So I mean, some okay stuff in this pack as far as value is concerned. Kind of depends on what you paid for the pack. I don't remember what I paid for this pack, so that part is moot for me. As far as what I would draft, part of me thinks a Mono Rock could be good, so Darksteel Ingot is a good option. Primal Rage, though, could be a game changer. I would probably go for Primal Rage and then hope either the Ingot or the Tower of the Magistrate wheel around and I can get those on the second time around. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we have a tip jar on Patreon if you want to pop a buck in there and support our efforts here on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for watching.